Hi everybody, we're gonna get started. Thank you, all of you, so much for being here tonight. Welcome to our 2024 Milpitas City Council Member Candidate Forum. I am Rhoda Shapiro, and I'm the founder and editor-in-chief of the Milpitas Beat. And we are so excited to be hosting this forum. This is our fourth election season hosting candidate forums. We started back in 2018. And so tonight is the first of a series of three. So later this week on Saturday morning at 9 a.m. at the Milpitas High School Library, we are having the Milpitas School Board Forum. So if you have not RSVP'd for that, the QR code's in the back. We also have next week, next Wednesday, October 9th, the Mayoral Forum in the same location. And you can also RSVP in the back if you have not yet done so. So first of all, I just wanted to give a shout out to our partners and sponsors. Just a big thank you to Sunny Hills Neighborhood Association for all your support. Also to Tina Broyles and Loan Pros Inc. and Dr. Larry Napolitano. And I do want to welcome, I know we have some elected officials in the room tonight. So a welcome to School Board Trustee Rob Jung, sitting right here. We also have School Board President Min No in the back there. Hey Min. Who else is here? Who else do I? Oh, and we have School Board Trustee Kelly If Chuan here in the second row. And I thought I saw the mayor here, Carmen Montano, somewhere. But yes, thank you guys so much, all of you, for being here, and also Councilmember Han Lien as well. Okay, I think I got everybody. Am I missing anybody? Anybody? All right. So tonight, you are going to be hearing from 5 candidates for council. We actually do have 6, but one of them, Juliet Gomez, could not be here tonight due to medical reasons. And so she just wanted to send her regards. And if you do want to learn more about her, just go to milpitasbeat.com and do a search on her name, Juliet Gomez. Okay, so tonight I am very excited to present our moderators this evening. We have a group of students from the Milpitas High School journalism class seated over here that are going to be moderating the event. And we're so excited to be collaborating with them. We just thought it would be such a great opportunity. They're doing so many great things in their class, which is led by their teacher and advisor, Mr. Sanjit Roy. They produce the Union, the Milpitas High School's paper, which goes to print, and it's just amazing work. So I'm so excited to have you guys here today. And I first wanted to bring up Prisha Jain and Akshash Kashyap. Let's give them a round of applause. This one.
Hello. Hi everybody, my name is Akshash Kashyap and I am the editor-in-chief of the Union.
And I'm Prisha Jain.
And we are going to go ahead and introduce the 5 candidates here with us this evening. First off, we have Vice Mayor Evelyn Chua.
Next we have Dipak Awasthi.
And we have Bill Chuan.
Next is Nakka.
And finally, William Lamb.
Welcome to all of you, and thank you so much for being here. Before we start, I just wanted to lay down some of the rules and let you know how the evening is going to unfold. We'll start with giving each candidate 2 minutes to introduce themselves. Our timekeeper, seated here in the first row, will hold up this yellow sheet and signal when you have 30 seconds left. And then, once your time is completely up, you'll see this paper with a red X through it.
Once introductions are over, we'll move on to the questions. There will be 5 questions in total. Just so the audience is aware, none of the candidates have received the questions in advance. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer each question. And after those initial questions are up, we'll have time for a few questions from the audience. If you have one of these index cards, be sure to write out your question and hand it off to Rhoda over here on the side, who will be collecting all of them. Be sure to include your name with the question as well. If your question is chosen, you'll be given the opportunity to come up with the microphone to ask it. For our audience questions, candidates will have 1 minute each to respond.
And then we will end with closing statements. Candidates will get 90 seconds each to deliver their closing statement, and that will conclude our forum. Are all of our candidates ready? Okay, then we will start with opening statements. Our first candidate will be Vice Mayor Evelyn Chua.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to Eric and Rhoda for hosting, and also thank you to Milpitas High School for moderating. Our family has called Milpitas home for the past 35 years. My daughter Waylin and my son-in-law Anbui are Milpitas High School graduates. As your mayor, together we made significant accomplishments, but our journey is far from over. I'm running for re-election to continue our progress and tackle the challenges ahead. My record speaks for itself. Bolster public safety with fire and police staffing and a robust succession planning in place. Housing, supported single court development for low-income rentals. Businesses, supported plans for business attraction, expansion, and retention. Fiscally conservative city, focus on revenue generation and manage expenditure. Look for other resources like grants. Quality of life, additional staff to address potholes, tree trimming operation, parks repairs, and enhancement. Looking forward, I'm confident and committed to do more. Let's keep the momentum going. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mrs. Chua. Our next candidate is Dipak Awasthi.
Hi, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Rhoda and Eric, for the beautiful forum. And I'm so glad to see so many young people here. They are our future. Thank you for coming out. My name is Dipak Awasthi, and I am honored to stand before you as a candidate for the Milpitas City Council. My journey in Milpitas began in 1996, when I and my family moved to Milpitas with the dream of building a better life, like so many of you. We worked hard, raised our children here, and by the way, our 2 kids graduated from Milpitas High, and they're doing very good in life. And now my 2 grandkids go here in Milpitas. And we embrace the rich diversity that makes Milpitas such a special place. Over the years, I have been fortunate to serve in various commissions, the Sister Cities, Economic Development. Right now I am on the Planning Commission. And I have also run a successful business for many years, and which has given me a deep understanding of how the government works, how the budget works, and how to run the city like a good business. If you don't have the money, don't spend. Right now, Milpitas is at a critical crossroads. We are grappling with public safety concerns, homelessness, economic development, and we need good paying jobs. I believe my experience as a business owner and my commitment to practical solutions can help guide Milpitas towards a stronger, prosperous future. I am here tonight to share my vision and how we can address these challenges through responsible financial management, supporting our police and public safety. I look forward to engaging with you tonight and hearing your thoughts and concerns. Together we can make Milpitas an even better place to live.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Awasthi.
you.
Sorry, time's up. Thank you so much. Our next candidate who will be reading an opening statement is Bill Chuan.
Thank you. Thank you to the Milpitas Beat and all the sponsors and also Milpitas High students and everybody out here that took the time out of your busy schedule to actually come out here and talk to meet with all the candidates here. My name is Bill Chuan. I moved to Milpitas in 2008 with my wife, Kelly Yip Chuan. We came out here to start a family. I love Milpitas and I love the community here. I am running for city council because I have a passion to serve. I served my country in the US Army and now I want to serve my city where I raised my family. I want to serve it in a greater capacity. I love the family-oriented nature of Milpitas and want to keep it that way. I served on the Milpitas Planning Commission for 5 years. I served as a chair for the last 2 years and 1 year as the vice chair. I am currently on the Valley Water Independent Monitoring Committee, Milpitas Community Emergency Response Team, and Milpitas Kiwanis. Additionally, I volunteer at Milpitas High School with the NJROTC Athletic Booster Club and recently was elected as the Community Board Advisory Council rep for Milpitas High. I also previously served on the Milpitas Zone Advisory Group and my children's school site council. I'm a Cal Poly graduate, San Luis Obispo alumni, where the motto of the school is learn by doing, and doing is what I plan to do. All these roles have given me valuable skills and deep understanding of local government and how to get things done. I'm eager to bring fresh perspectives, proactive solutions, and dedicated leadership to our city council. I am prioritizing public safety, improvement to the quality of life, and optimizing economic growth and ensuring the right businesses come into Milpitas that matter most to our residents. With your support, we can build a brighter future for our city. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chuan. Our next candidate is Nakka.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you to all the Milpitas residents for being here tonight. And special thanks to Milpitas Beat and the sponsors for hosting this forum. I'm Nakka, a proud resident of Milpitas for over 23 years, an avid volunteer and currently an elected school board trustee for Milpitas Unified School District. I'm running for City Council to bring a new leadership with fresh perspectives and result-driven strategies for our city. Here are some of my priorities. Public safety. Being a community emergency response team leader for our city, I understand the importance of emergency preparedness. I will strongly advocate to ensure our first responders are fairly compensated and equipped with the latest technologies for proactive solutions. Responsible housing. With over 7,000 new homes approved in the past decade, I will ensure future developments and affordable housing do not outpace city services, maintaining a balance that accompanies benefits for everyone. Economic development. With my education, experience, and skills, I'll focus on fostering a vibrant startup ecosystem that can generate additional revenue and taxes and creates more jobs for our residents. Addressing homelessness. I'll work with local organizations to implement compassionate and practical solutions for homelessness while ensuring public safety for our residents. Quality of life. During my Walk, Knock, Talk campaign trail, I've heard about neighboring issues, from speeding to potholes to park maintenance. I'm committed to working with the City Council and staff to resolve these effectively. The vision is about people, not just policies. I'm here to listen, understand, and act. I humbly ask for your vote to make Milpitas safer, stronger, and more vibrant. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And our final candidate to deliver an opening statement is William Lamb.
Thank you, Milpitas Beat, for doing this forum for us. Hello, everyone. My name is William Lam. I live in Milpitas for 35 years. I believe our community has good potential for positive growth and change. After graduating from UC Berkeley and a master from San Jose State, I enjoy a wonderful career in engineering and management. For the past 21 years, while giving back to my community, I served on the Technology Commission, and I was elected as the chairperson for the Milpitas Homeless Task Force. While raising my daughter, I dedicate 13 years to the school district, serving as a chair for many years on the school site council and on the community board advisory council. And I'm currently the chair for the Parcel Tax Oversight Committee. With the school and the city government experience, a number of community members have asked me to do something good for Milpitas. So I decided, to step up and run for city council. I am committed to ensuring that our city continue to thrive, addressing both our current challenges and future opportunities. My priority will be focused on public safety, enhancing our quality of life, and managing our city budget responsibly. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lam. And that concludes. Thank you, Mr. Lam. And that concludes our opening statements. Hi, everyone. My name is Jerry Young, and I have the first question of the evening. On the ballot this year is a local tax measure, which is a quarter-cent transaction and use tax that will be put towards things like 911 emergency response services and fire protection. The measure, known as Measure F, was approved by voters in 2020, and it allows for $7 million annually to go to the city until the year 2029. Putting it on the ballot this year will allow residents to potentially continue or discontinue the tax measure. If the measure isn't continued, the city will need to determine other ways of financing some of these critical services. Along with that, the city of Milpitas foresees a budget deficit in 2027 to 28 of $1.2 million and an $18.9 million budget deficit by the 2030 to 31 fiscal year. So my question to you is, given all of the financial challenges, what is your vision for economic development, and what steps would you take to ensure that our city is on firm financial footing? We're starting with Mr. Awasthi.
Thank you. It's a great question. First of all, I want that the city should be put their own house in order before asking extra money. We approved this, and I supported the Measure F in 2020, and it was for 8 years. It was meant for because of the downturn, there was no revenue coming, and for 8 years, $7 million, 56 million, perfect. And it was spent on the COVID resources. Everything was going right, and now we don't have that COVID anymore, but the 7 million is still coming. So I do not understand why we need the additional money, because the city services, the public safety and the civic services, they have to be well budgeted beforehand. So this 7 million was for COVID, and now if we are saying that we have to go to on the budget for police services, civic services, I don't get that. I don't understand that. We already have enough money to budget police services, to civic services. So I don't see any reason that this should be we should have another 8 years. In fact, we should let it end in 2029 and make sure that the money is spent on new ambulance or new senior housing, anything any project which is new, the 7 million right now is gravy if we consider that we are not spending on COVID-19. So any new service for youth service or any other purpose like lights, traffic lights, bumps, anything new which is added, this 7 million we could spend. So for that purpose, I'm not voting, I'm voting no.
Sorry, Mr. Awasthi, your time is up. All right, thank you for your response. Now on to Mr. Chuan, same question.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the question there. So in regards to Measure J, I was actually, at the senior center today and, went over our city manager, Ned Thomas, and Matt Kano gave a briefing around that there. So right now, in terms of the quarter tax increase right now, we're all paying it right now. So if we do fall short of, if this measure does not pass in November, we're going to fall short $7 million over a $250 million budget that happens annually. And so that also opens, if you don't pass it, other entities such as the Santa Clara County or even ETA can also come in there and add that additional quarter percent tax to our taxes. And so when doing that, although it sounds like it could be good, the money's not going to be going to Milpitas. It'll be going to those entities, even though we're part of the county and we also use ETA, it won't 100% go to Milpitas. But with the quarter percent tax increase that we currently have right now, there's no increase in the sales tax right now, and it'll just maintain that. So we'll still have that $7 million budget annually. So, I mean, that's one way that, we're going to be able to keep that budget. But also, we also need to take a look at, overall everything else, during the time of budget, make sure that we continue to stay fiscally responsible. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chuan. Same question for you, Mrs. Nakka.
For the emergency responses and the Measure F that was passed in 2020 and which is going to expire soon in 2029, and the Measure J that is coming up, which will be on the ballot, that is the concern for some of the residents. Okay. So to start with, the idea of the measure is definitely a yes for me, because if we do not tax and which is not raising the burden on our residents, then it's going to be taken away by the Valley Transport or the Santa Clara County, and it is not going to stay in our city for our own benefit of our residents. So the challenges for the economic development would be even higher, and it will be critical going forward, and for our fire and police and many of the safety measures that we really need those revenue dollars for, I would suggest it is a right thing to do, and that measure is a yes for me as far as my take is concerned. And please let me know if you have any other questions. Happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Nakka. Same question for you, Mr. Lam.
Okay. I was at the senior center earlier today also, attending the Measure J's meeting. Before I was going into that meeting, I haven't decided which way to go. I have talked to many residents for the last several weeks, and a lot of people against more taxes. And the cost of living in Milpitas is pretty high these days, and then paying 0.25% extra doesn't help. And also, I look at the city budget. We have 250 million. That's a lot of money. And a lot of people ask, where the money goes? It's very odd to me that we have to ask our voter to get more money from us. So after the meeting, I still haven't decided which way, but I'm leaning to a no, because we just passed a Measure F a few years ago, and they are again asking for continuing this 8 more years. Why don't we wait 4 more years and see how it goes before we we decide what to do? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lam. And now, same question for you, Mrs. Chua.
Thank you. Measure F, when it was introduced in 2020, I did not vote for it. I have the same rationale as some of you guys. But being on the council now, I realize we need it. The reason is we have a structural deficit during COVID. We have not fully recovered from COVID, even though some of the revenues are okay. The license taxes, before COVID, we were 11 to 12 million dollars income from license fees. Now we're at 9.3 million dollars. Our hotel tax has not recovered. We used to have like 14 to 15 million dollars, and it's still at 13, and that's optimistic forecast for 24-25. The cost of doing business, or the cost of servicing the city, as you know, went up. You can feel it. It's inflation. And the question about why now, we want to be strategic, because we know in 28, 29, we're going to have a deficit of 4.1, and then in another few years, we're going to have a deficit of $21 million. We want to be sure. We want to be strategic. We want to plan ahead. And also, I agree with Bill Chuan that if we don't use it, somebody else will use it, and it's not going to be given to us. It will be used by the entire county. It's not going to be spent here locally. So I support Mr. J. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Javier Alfaro, and I have the second question. For years, our city has talked about the potential of Main Street and the need to find ways to revitalize it. Do you think that our current Main Street area is healthy and successful? If the answer is yes, why do you feel that way? And if the answer is no, what ideas do you have that would enhance our Main Street? We'll start with you, Mr. Chuan.
Would you please, would you mind repeating the question? And you're welcome to take my microphone. That one seemed to be breaking up.
For years, our city has talked about the potential of Main Street and the need to revitalize it. Do you think that our current Main Street area is healthy and successful? If the answer is yes, why do you feel that way? And if your answer is no, what ideas do you have that would enhance our Main Street? We'll start with you, Mr. Chuan.
Can you repeat it? I'll just read it for everybody here. Hello, everyone. My name is, I'm not Javi, but I'm Bill. I have the second question. For years, our city has talked about the potential of our Main Street and the need to find ways to revitalize it. Do you think that our current Main Street is healthy and successful? If the answer is yes, why do you feel that way? And the answer is no, what ideas do you have that would enhance our Main Street? You guys got it?
Yeah.
So, you're welcome. So this is about the Main Street. Right now, you can just go down Main Street and just see the current state of it, of where it's at. There's not a whole lot of development that's gone on down there. I mean, you've got a few like down over by the fire station. There's some new developments there. You keep driving up. Down at one end you have the library. I mean, we're at one end of it as well too. The challenge is how much development you have and how many things have come up. When I was on the planning commission, there was one recommendation for city staff to not build a car wash. And the car wash wound up being built. So, right now it just seems like there's really no, plans. I mean, there's a big idea, for, having, Main Street, be, something similar to what we go to, like other places like a Santana Row or something like that. But right now you got to look at the overall, the budgeting and how much money do we actually have, for that. So I would think, I still think community input is needed, for this to really understand, and also need to understand, given our current budget situation, can we afford it? I mean, it's nice that we can have businesses like that, coming down Main Street. I mean, it's great we had some community events like our, Winter Fest, we had, we got the community get together. But is it really viable? Is it really going to cost a lot of money? That's the only thing. If there's other areas that we can look at, maybe other areas that make sense that we can build upon, that might make more sense. But right now, as I see, there still needs to be a lot of community input around that, and definitely have to take a look at the overall budgets of what's going on within our city, if we can afford it or not. Thank you.
The Main Street revitalization, that has been in the talks for a very long time, as much as I've known and seen in Milpitas. And whether it's in a good shape, why why is it needed if it is not, is the question. The development is always vital for any city, and it's going to bring us a lot of revenue. I definitely agree on that. With that said, it's always the budget of the city, it's always the priority of the citizens, of the residents of our city that we need to consider. Is there an existing process? Is there an established process of getting the input and feedback from our community? Is something that when I get elected to the city council, I would take time and be out there with the city council members and with the city staff to discuss how is the input and what is it that our city needs, and whether is it feasible in our budget going forward, and if so, when can we put that in a potential list of plan of action. So being in the business, which is the major area of our revenues, the sales tax, the hotel tax, the business, the industrial tax, those are the major taxes and revenue streams for our budgeting process, for any city for that matter. So for me, if that can be considered, that is great. If that is not, then what is it that we need further down, especially from the people, from our residents, from our neighborhoods. I've been going around as a walking trail, and I've been taking the inputs and also been part of looking into the economic development commissions that I've been attending. So Main Street revitalization is definitely a yes for me. It's only a matter of time. So please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.
Okay, every time when I drive down Main Street, I feel like I'm going back in time. I feel like 40s or 50s. It might not be a bad thing. Definitely Main Street has a historic significance. Why don't we sell a theme? Why don't we have a 50 or 40s feel when we walk down the Main Street? It's like instead of driving, why don't we set up this street as a walking street for people to walk down and enjoy the historic moment. Just like this library, it has a very traditional 50s, 40s look. At the same time, inside is so modern. So we could mix the old style and new style on Main Street. On the surface, we could have a 50s style look, and then the inside, it could be restaurants or other stores, lots of stores on the main street, newer style construction. Like when you drive in, it says parking, and then the store is in the back. Why don't you move the store in the front? So when you walk down the street, like Santana Road, you see the stores, and you can visit the stores. With that said, I prefer the funds spent on fixing the streets, cleaning the parks, rather than spending
Time's
on
up.
main streets.
Next we'll have Ms. Chua.
Thank you. Yes, Main Street has been neglected for decades. And this council and the previous council are really seriously looking into what can we do about Main Street. There's so much potential in Main Street in terms of revenue generation. Because if we have a vital Main Street, we could get impact fees. And impact fees generates about $40,000 per unit. And that's for infrastructure, sewer, water, street, parks. So we are actively doing something about it. There is an ongoing conversation between the store owners and the council, and I think it's represented by Mayor Montano and the rest of the council. There is a policy that we're looking into to set aside some funds specific for Main Street. Also, there's what's called BID. We're trying to market this to the store owners, for them to set aside some money to revitalize Main Street. The funds are coming from them, and that's the goal. And like William said, there is a plan already in place on how to develop Main Street, like a walkabout, the mixed use of commercial and residential. And you can see it now on some of the new buildings. You can see the residential on the second, third, and fourth floors, and then the commercial below. And that's how we want to progress Main Street. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Chua. And finally, Mr. Awasthi.
Thank you. Main Street, I have been hearing for so many years. Yeah, it died on me.
It died.
Yeah.
Oh, there.
It needs your magic touch. Yeah, let me start. Main Street has been, we've been hearing for so many years. One council says we'll do this, one council says we'll do that. The economic development is working on that. And a lot of money has been spent. A lot of staff hours have been spent, which is also money. Taxpayer money, your money, my money. Nothing has come up. Nothing concrete has come up. So Main Street has different landlords. On one side you see a religious institution, on the other side you see daycare, you see some stores, now there's a car wash. It's a hodgepodge. It's where in the, what fantasy do we have that we can convert it overnight? And how much money will be spent? We must come up and say, okay, we are going to spend X amount of dollars, and will the public approve that money? Taxpayer money, your money we are spending there. And you should be able to ask questions. Okay, this is my money. You are sitting there on my money, on my dime, and spending the money. Where is it? Can you get the landlords together? If I could, I would talk to the landlord and I'll tell them, okay, I'll bring a high-end restaurant. Can you give them the break? Can you give them 3 or 4 months? They'll say, okay, we can give them 2 months. Talk to a good retail for the landlord, for the empty spaces. I will be very, very proactive, being a small business owner myself, in going and having direct approach with the landlords and with the retailers or good high-end dining restaurants, one day at a time, one business at a time. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Mr. Awasthi. Hello everyone, my name is Shrihan, and the next question is a two-part question for all our candidates. The first part is, what do you plan to accomplish in your
Give you the microphone.
The first part of the question is, what do you plan to accomplish in your first 90 days in office? And the second part is, and what do you plan to accomplish overall during your full four-year council term? We'll start over here with Mrs. Nakka. Okay. What do you plan to accomplish in your first 90 days in office? And what do you plan to accomplish overall during your full four-year council term?
I'll let you read.
Okay. Okay, the question is, what do you plan to accomplish in your first 90 days in office? That's the first part. And what do you plan to accomplish overall during your full year council term? What do I accomplish in the first 90 days when I get elected into the office? And what is it that I plan to accomplish in the full four-year term when I get elected to the office? There is a process in place that can be used, and for anything to start off, to jumpstart, I will use my school district experience, my education, to understand, to get in and to talk to the city council members, with the city office staff, to be able to see what is it that has been formulated so far that needs more attention, that is the need of the hour. What is it that we have from our residents as a survey, as a feedback that needs to be taken care immediately? What is it that needs to be done at that moment for the 90 days? It's like a 100-day project, right? For the first 30 days, and then you're taking it from there. So one step at a time. For me, it's about the revenue. It's about the deficit that we are facing as of now, and about the future that's going to go. I'm a number person. I have my doctorate in finance. I understand the budget. I understand the intricacies of how and where we need to go starting from there. So in my four-year term, I would love to see the things which have been pipelined based on the cost-effective budgeting process that we can accomplish. It's for the greater community. It's for our citizens. Anything that takes, I will be out there talking and knocking and taking the feedback from each one of you to understand what is it that our residents need. We are here to serve. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Nakka. Same question for you, Mr. Lam.
Okay. My top priority, again, public safety, enhancing our quality of life, and managing our city budget responsibly. So my first 9 days would be, I'd like to sit down with the mayor and police chief to lay down a plan for public safety. And then for the next 4 years, I want to make sure we actually improve our quality of life, fixing the roads. I do all the simple things. Fixing the roads, clean up the park, make sure all the potholes in Milpitas is fixed. And also, I want to make sure carriers, the traffic light is synchronized in the morning, so people would flow more smoothly. last thing is I just want to make sure our fund is spent on us, nothing else. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lam. And now moving on to our Vice Mayor, Ms. Chua.
Thank you so much. For the first 90 days of the second term, I'm really focused on revenue generation and cost expenditure. I would like to explore the business tax rate schedule. So the way we do it now is for every business is $35. And then for less than 10 employees is $5 each. And then more than 100 employees it's like a dollar, and then it goes on with 25 cents. We have not changed our business tax rate since 1976. I think we can get some revenue out of that, and it's an exploration. We need to explore. We need to find out where else can we get revenue. I would like to explore more grants. We've been successful lately getting grants from federal, state, and county. I would like to explore more grants, and we are actively doing that. We just hired a grant expert to explore all the different grants that are available. I also would like to evaluate. This council approved, through my recommendation, a financial stress test. The result will be coming out, and we want to know exactly how we can mitigate, how we can prepare if there is another COVID situation in terms of financial vulnerability. So that should be coming up. And for the next 4 years, I would like to continue doing all the different focus that I have: public safety, housing, quality of life, businesses.
Thank you for the answer.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And now, Mr. Awasthi, it's your turn.
Thank you. Yeah, for the first 90 days, when I get up there, the first thing I'm going to see is trying to put the house in order. Where is the money going? Why are we going into a crisis? Where is the taxpayers' money going? Your money, my money. We are sitting there on your dime. You sent us there as watchdogs. We cannot misuse that money, nor have anybody misuse that money. Having said that, we have to make sure how to generate extra revenue. One example would be the hotels. If they are not full, if they are not coming up, talk to the travel agents. If they can bring big groups over to Cupertino, to Santa Clara, they can bring them here. We can give them a bus. They can go to Santa Clara Convention Center. The prices are very much cheaper here. You got to be negotiating. You got to connect people. As your council member, I'm going to do that. And that will be in the first 90 days, trying to understand the business, trying to get the revenue, and that which is very important. And going in, then another thing is there is a lawsuit on the city, and the city insurance has declined to pay. And this is over. I have heard $300,000 of taxpayer money has been spent already on lawyers and consultants. That is something I want to look into, how much money is going to go down the drain. It is going to bring the deficit even faster, and that is alarming. I do not want to cut civic services. I do not want the police have to be funded. We need more police officers on the street, and this will be the long-term plan, is to look into each and everything and be your watchdog on the council. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we're moving to Mr. Chua.
Yeah, thank you for the question there. So, first 90 days. So first thing, definitely want to review the budget. And during that time, we'll also know too whether Measure J passes or not. If Measure J passes, then that's one area of the budget that can probably be reviewed and see how that's been spent. If it doesn't passes, then immediately we need to find a way to make up that $7 million that didn't pass and figure out a way to, what we can do there. Next, I would, definitely start building relationships, with our county elected officials as well as our state to see what we can do to, increase some of the grants within our, for Milpitas, as well as whoever winds up being elected, the mayor and the city councilman, make sure that, start building a relationship with them. Of course, not violating any Brown Act, but, just, maybe one-on-one, just, kind of meet, just to kind of build that relationship. One of the things I had, and then going to, my 4-year plan, one of the things I have, and one of my priorities, and I have a cards back there, is transparency, professionalism, and civility. So, definitely want to start, the city council, right, make sure that, we're all acting professionally. And if there's disagreements, that's okay. You can agree to disagree, but just do it in a very civil manner. So I want to start that process almost immediately. And anything that we can do to be transparent, definitely we'll do that. And in terms of my priorities for the remainder of the 4 years, my number one priority, as I stated, and I go to many residents, is public safety. We want to make sure that our police and fire are well supported, make sure they get the support that they need. Because to me, that's one thing that's really important for all of us as families. As I mentioned in my opening statement, I love the family feel of Milpitas and want to maintain that, and I believe that that's one way to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chua. So, hi everyone, my name is Rana, and I'm going to be asking a question that many residents wanted to make sure we brought up this evening. It's on the topic of homelessness. Currently, we have approximately 150 to 175 unhoused individuals living in our city. If elected to the role of city council member, what would you do?
We can't hear you. We maybe have Mr. Lamb repeat. It's hard to hear when you're down.
All of us. Bounces back on all of us. But currently, we have approximately 150 to
Can we get the paper and have Mr. Lamb read it?
Hold on.
Okay.
It's better. Which question is that? No, he needs to know which question.
Yeah, because
Which question is it?
the next question is on the page.
This question right here.
Okay, many residents want to make sure we brought up this evening is on the topic of homelessness. Currently, we have approximately 150 to 175 unhoused individuals living in our city. If elected to the role of a city council member, what would you do to address the issue of homelessness in our community?
Thank you, Mr. Lam. Our next speaker is Ms. Chua. First of all, we'll start with Mr. Lam.
Okay, homelessness is not just a housing problem. It's a human problem, it's a society problem, it's a community problem. Initially, we all feel sorry for the homeless. But after several years, we experienced the Home Key projects, which is next to Embassy Suite Hotel. I live near Hillview, which is right next to that facility, and our crime rate has went up. We feel sorry for them at the same time. We have issues. They bring in drugs and crime. that facility has a lot of issues right now. Every day I hear sirens. And those homeless individuals, sometimes they sleep on the bench of a park, and then we don't know what to do with them. Our residents has complained. We need to have a more comprehensive plans, more rehab programs. Most of them has alcohol issues, drug issues. Rather than put them in a unit, we need to send them to a facility which they need help on. And then for people who are at the verge of, sorry.
Thank you so much. Homelessness, I really commend the previous council and the current council, because I think we created the homelessness task force a few years ago to address homelessness. And recently, through the streamlining of the organization structure of the city, we elevated the housing department to an executive level. That's how serious we think homelessness is as an issue. I also initiated focusing a commission. We don't have a commission for housing. So I initiated the housing commission. And this is to focus and really look at feedback from the community and then advise the city council on what is needed to be done. Also, the previous and current council continued to fund the laundry and shower for facilities once a week for the homeless. I remember my very first initiative as an elected official almost 4 years ago. I was so shocked of the homelessness that I initiated, and I asked the council, I said, can we fund some temporary housing hotel voucher? I got rejected. So what I did, I went out to the community and I was able to raise 14,500. And this is a precursor of the current program that we have for temporary motel stay program. We have that now. Okay, thank you.
All right. Moving on to Mr. Awasthi, same question.
Thank you. When we are talking of Hillview, that is a county project, and the county just thrust on us. We should have opposed it, gone to county meetings. The whole council should have gone and sat there and talked to them that what is our share? How many, let's say you have 100 beds, or are you going to give us 50? Negotiation. Negotiation is the key. Well, coming back to our unhoused or homeless problem, we are dealing with human beings, and they have to be dealt with compassion and practical solutions. One of them, there is no silver bullet. I don't think there is a silver bullet here. We have people who are homeless with kids, people who lost their jobs, and some are on addiction, some have mental health issues, and some do not want any help at all. And I have seen them firsthand. You try to help and they just come back on the street. So we have to make sure that, first of all, we need the funding, and how is it going to come from? The city does not have the money. We have to get state, federal, county help, and then we have to, let's say, Amazon is here in Milpitas, KLA 10 Core. I'm going to go and approach them. Listen, you do so much social service. You have so much charitable. You have so many good unhoused, we have so many non-profits in the city. Can you give us some money? You have to go and approach, tell them. You have to sell the city. Once you go talk to them, someone says, okay, we'll give you $1,000, that's okay. Someone says $2,000. You got to be proactive and not just sitting and thinking that something will come and we'll do it. Thank you.
Bill, give him the mic. It's not, we can't hear him.
Thank you, Mr. Awasthi. And now let's hear from Mr. Chuan, same question.
Thank you for the question. So, in regards to our unhoused and our homeless here, so what I believe is it's not a one step, one shot. That you're can solve the problem. It's really you got to take a multifaceted approach, to tackle this. And this basically involves a lot of collaboration, with our city staff, our county, our state, working together. And also including different organizations, even with Milpitas. We have Mr. Jones sitting in the audience there. He's a great person that he understands, the unhoused, with the hope for the unhoused as well. So, I've worked with him over the last, couple months to, further understand the unhoused situation here. I went out to, one of the encampments as well to just understand the situation out there. And actually talk to some of the residents out there, the clients out there, just to understand what are they going through. And I believe that part of the thing is some of them are in a situation where they ran into a tough time. They lost their job, and they found themselves homeless. So we got to be able to make sure we get the right resources to help those folks. A lot of it might come from the county, but still, we got to work together. I mean, this is not a one-person job. It's got to be the overall community to work together, and we got to deal with it in a compassionate way as well. So, anyways, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chuan. And finally, Mrs. Nakka.
Thank you. Many residents over years, especially COVID, has worsened the situation for our city, and our city is not just an exception. Many other cities, our sister cities, having the same problem. When we talk about 150 to 175 homeless residents, the unhoused living in the city, and addressing the issue in the community, there is no one single silver bullet to answer this question. However, there can be solutions. It can be workable, it can be collaborative and cohesive with the local organizations which support the unhoused residents. It can also be outside of Milpitas, be it the county, the state, the grants. We can always work with the existing resources outside of Milpitas to be able to receive some grants and apply for them. When I get elected as a councilwoman, this is one of my priorities, that I would take time to understand, to see what is it that made a specific individual unhoused, right? So it's out of compassionate and practical solutions that we have to deal. It's a case-by-case analysis, and it's an issue. Again, we are no exception. And also, we have to prioritize some common sense public safety for our residents when it comes to homelessness, businesses, schools, and the places of worship for our city. And the temporary sources, like Vice Mayor Chua was mentioning about the hotel vouchers for the senior citizens, those all can be definitely utilized. With that said, there can be health issues, there can be disabilities, there can be some job training that we can assist someone who is able to get back on their feet. And not just that, it's also not pulling them out of the street, but also try and understand how to provide permanent housing for them. So homelessness is definitely a critical issue, not for our city, but every other city.
Thank you for that answer, Mrs. Nakka. Hi everyone, my name is Ved and I have the final question of the day before we move into audience questions. Can you guys all hear me fine? Yeah. Okay. For this one, we'll start with Evelyn Chua. What do you think is the biggest problem in Milpitas right now and how do you intend to solve it?
You only want one? The biggest concern, I go out there and it's amazing. I mean, I would think that the residents would tell me it's public safety, right? But it's not. When I ask them, the feedback that I get is, what are you going to do with the potholes? What are you going to do with the trees? What are you going to do with my street? So, based on that, I think that we have to address the maintenance and the repairs of our streets, and we are doing that. But unfortunately, I'll give you statistics. It takes about, last 2023, we have 1,223 something calls just to fix something wrong with the trees or there are potholes in the street. Those are service requests. We are backlogged in terms of the regular repairs that we have, and that's about 200 of them. So I went to one street and one lady was not very happy, and this was last week, and she said that their street has not been fixed for the last 20 years. And I was kind of shocked. I said, really? Yes, it hasn't been fixed. So I went to our city staff and our executive team, and they looked into it. So those things, I think, that I would categorize as number one, to look into the real needs of our community, our residents. Also, I would like to say, second thing is we really need revenue generation in the city. That's it? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. And now, Mr. Awasthi, same question.
Thank you. The biggest problem I see right now when I talk to residents and in my neighborhood and everywhere, fortunately I have been lucky, but I don't know till when, car break-ins, property break-ins, business break-ins, they have increased over the years. And people want to know what we are doing, they are perplexed. Can I walk my kid to the park and nothing happens, chain snatching? All those things are happening. So we need more officers on the street. Public safety is one. Civic services is next. And any government, I emphasize, should have these two services covered in the budget. Public safety for the residents, enough money should be there, and mind you, we have the money, we have the revenue. And civic services, to clean the potholes and everything, whatever is needed. And why they have not been done, I don't understand. Maybe when I go there, I'll have a clear idea and I'll work on that. But the biggest thing comes back to is the public safety. After the public safety, it is also the budget. Everything boils down to where is the money, where is your money, how much money are you getting and how much money are you spending. If you are spending more money on things of less value or there is wasteful spending, we got to make sure that that stops and we start, first of all, if we are not able to pay our own bills, then we are in some kind of problem. If we are not being able to clear the potholes or small things, they should be all budgeted. We should know what is going to come, how many calls are going to come. We should be ahead of them. If there are, let's say, 1,200 calls, like Vice Mayor said, we should budget for 1,500 calls and be ready with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Now let's hear from Mr. Chuan.
Thank you for the question there. So, biggest problem, almost every resident I come and knock on the door to and talk about, as I present, my top priority as being, public safety. Almost everyone agrees. Everyone's like, hey, because we want to keep that good family feel around that. So to me, that's probably one of the biggest priorities. The other one that I often hear about is, I even had one resident recently over on Dempsey Road, and they put in an app, the Public Works app, and asked about, hey, Dempsey Road, what's going on here? I already submitted an app and I didn't hear about it. They hadn't heard anything for months. So I looked into it, for them and found out it was actually part of the capital improvement program. So to me, hearing about that and then the time it's going to take to finally, get Dempsey Road going to take is going to be like 2025, 2026. So to me, it's aging infrastructure as well too. So part of the problem over there is the reason why Dempsey Road is not, fixed just yet is because there's a pipe down there, a water pipe, and that one needs to be replaced first before we can fix the roads there. So it's problems like that come up, needing to fix the infrastructure, which again leads over to like how are we going to pay for all that. So revenue is definitely one aspect that we need to continue generating for the city, and I believe for doing that we got to find ways to optimize economic development. Making sure we do get the right businesses that the residents want. Here within Milpitas. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chuan. And now we're moving on to Mrs. Nakka.
The biggest problem, there is no one problem as such. At the same time, I would not say that, there is no problem which is really big. It can be solved. It can be resolved. It's just a matter of collaboration and, prioritizing the issues. I've been walking in the neighborhood, and be it the Sunny Hills neighborhood, be it the Rose, Manor, Parktown, there are various issues in different neighborhoods, I must say, anywhere from feral cats issue to, the roads, pavements are broken, and the street lights, potholes. There was a huge accident in front of my house just recently, because of the beacon lights. I think we need more stop signs. So if you look at it, we have to look into every issue. No issue is small or big that I can categorize. There can be, a graffiti problem. There can be city tree branches, which are really, having issues. The residents are having issues with their houses, the foundations. The speed bumps near the school district, schools that I saw. The speeding issue, traffic calming. I've been sending out the emails and receiving a lot of inputs from all the residents. I think some of you that I can recognize the faces here would have emailed me too. So there is no one specific issue, but then I would say, why are the water bill, rates up? It's not about the water bill, it's about the broken pipes. We should be able to pay only for the water that we are using, not for the pipes. So those are some things that I see, and definitely budget and revenue generation, everything is intertwined between each other that we need to look into. So generating the revenues, of course, the public safety. How do we have more police officers, more firefighters? It's Measure J again. We need more tax, more revenue coming in without any extra burden on our residents. So public safety, economic development, more businesses have to come in for our for us to generate more revenue. I am part of the executive board of Milpitas Chamber of Commerce, so I've seen the small businesses, the women-owned businesses suffer, especially post-COVID, if I may call it. So all these are various issues, and there is no one biggest problem. When I get elected into the city council, I will look into the My Milpitas app that a lot of residents have put in their
Thank you,
applications.
Mrs. Nakka.
Thank you.
And finally, we have Mr. Lam.
Yeah, by far, most of the people I talk to is public safety. People complain their mail is a lot of mail thief, and car being broken into, stealing the catalytic converter. So we definitely need to work with police to. One thing I noticed. almost every household has cameras these days. Wow, why don't we utilize that capabilities, work with the police to catch thief? We want to send a message to all the burglars or criminals out there. Don't mess with Milpitas residents. If you do crime here, make sure we'll catch you and you do time. And second, people are complaining about the traffics. Especially in the morning and late afternoon. It takes 20 to 30 minutes to get through Carreras. It's only before you get onto 237. It's only 4 traffic lights, and it takes half an hour to get through it. That's ridiculous. We need to fix that. And then lastly, people complain about the cost of living is too high. The water bill is very high. The garbage is, some people are telling me they don't have much garbage, but they still need to pay over $60, $70 a month. That's a lot for not dumping that much garbage. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lam. Before we continue, can we give it up for some of our Milpitas High School journalism students? Hello, everyone. My name is Maria Denise. I am not a Milpitas High School journalism student. I've been a reporter for the Milpitas Beat for the past 3 years, and so I'm very excited to be here. We are now moving to the audience portion of our event. I have in my hand some of the cards that we've collected, and we have some time to go through several of them. And sorry, can you get the next page? I will read, and some of them will be from the audience members themselves. Do you not hear them? Oh, yes, we will be starting with Mr. Awasthi. And if I call your name, please raise your hand, and Rhoda will come to you if you are asking the question yourself. And the candidates will each have 1 minute to respond for audience questions. Our first question we have today are, what are your thoughts about renaming the library from the Milpitas Library to the Milpitas Jose Esteves Library? And this is from Elaine Silvera. What are your thoughts about renaming the library from the Milpitas Library to the Milpitas Jose Esteves Library? Esteves, I'm sorry. And that's Mr. Awasthi.
There was a lot of talk in the community as to the name changing. We have names all over the city. You go to high school, we have the parks, they are named after someone. There will always be some names coming up. But everything involves taxpayers' money. If it is not Mr. Esteves, maybe a veteran, maybe someone else. And there will be, people will be calling. But to put a sign, changing the sign is $25,000 to $40,000 of yours and mine, taxpayer money, public funds. When you're sitting on public funds, which you take a decision when you have the money in your pocket. Don't use the city credit card, you have no money. Take the decision whenever you do something like this. If I were on the council, I would take the decision only when we have the money. Thanks.
Yeah, regarding
Next is Bill Chuan.
the naming of the library, so that's a big thing there. The fact that changing the name of the library and the timing of the name changing, to me is a problem. And $40,000, to make, signage changes and all the different changes is a lot of money. And not just that, but I don't feel that there was a lot of community input in terms of, changing the name of the library. And, I think, I wish there was a lot more community input, and definitely, one thing, if I'm elected, I'm always going to be a listening ear to each and every one of you. You have a problem or question, feel free to reach out to me. Even now, if you have, my email, I want to hear about it. I want to know your concerns. So this is one of them that I wish there was more community input so everybody can hear, have a say in it. And at a minimum, they could have went to the Library Commission. Thank you.
And next we have Nakka.
The Milpitas Library and renaming it to Jose Esteves, former mayor library. Jose Esteves, our former mayor, had led the effort for the new library to begin with. He has won the council race not just once, he's been a mayor for the longest, like 6 times, if I remember it right. So, what is it that takes to take a decision? It is the community. It is always the community. It's the feedback. It's the input. It's definitely from our residents that we need to receive the input. When I get elected as a city councilwoman, I will work with the city staff to see how much of the input, how many residents, what is the percentile as to 80,000 people that we received the input. And based on which any decision and every decision, I believe, should be taken, because we are here to serve you. You are the leaders of our society. So for me, it depends.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is William Lam.
For the name of the library, Milpitas Library sounds fine with me. I rather use the money to clean up the parks, put more toilets in the parks. Some people are saying when they go to park and they couldn't go to the toilet because there's people waiting in line. So why don't we spend the money, clean up the park, and improve our facilities, instead of spending money on just a name.
And finally, we have Vice Mayor Chua.
Thank you. I know there are some questions about the process, and I want to go over it quickly. In the beginning of 2024, in January, Councilmember Anthony Fan put in a request to look into renaming of the library. That was in January. The first meeting of August, Councilmember Barbadillo requested the status of that request. And the next meeting, we had what is the process? So staff put a presentation on the next meeting explaining the process. So I've been sitting on the naming subcommittee for the last 4 years. And we have named a lot of structure, Delano Mountain Parks and everything else. And I always adhere to the process.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Chua.
Thank you.
And this next question is by Paul Okoye. As a teacher at Milpitas High, which is right in the heart of Silicon Valley, I want to know how you will support students and residents with innovative ideas. As a teacher at Milpitas High, which is right in the heart of Silicon Valley, I want to know how you will support students and residents with innovative ideas. And we will start with Chuan.
Thank you for the question there. So my regular day job, I work in tech. I'm what they call the field applications engineer. So, and not to mention that, I'm also very supportive of schools, I participate, within PTA and school site councils. So, definitely to support innovation within campuses. Always happy to connect with, various members of the, on corporate to come, do some trainings, with, students or anything. Who is the teacher that asked the question?
Paul Okoye.
Paul what?
Okoye.
Paul, you see me? You're welcome to. Oh, here we go again. Oh, great. I'm happy to connect with you as well too. I've been out in industry as well too, so happy to connect and make different connections, and especially around AI or anything like that. Any subjects or topics around those things. I can happy to go even to a classroom and talk about that as well.
Next is Nakka.
Thank you for the question, Mr. Paul. That's exactly what I have been elected and been in the school district, currently serving as a Milpitas Unified School District elected board trustee. As an engineer with my background and with my finance and doctorate, I can see that AI is going nowhere. It's going to be here for a very long time unless there is something that we are unaware of. However, with that said, the MUSD and the city subcommittee, the collaborative subcommittees that we can work, clearly the pathways that you can see which have been initiated as far as AI, the advanced manufacturing, the innovation campus that we have been initiated, with our superintendent, of course, and the amazing school board, I can say that we have a very strong partnership. With that said, there are the startup ecosystem that we can dive into, and we have very many in our city that support the tech as well as the STEM and STEAM.
Thank
so
you, Ms.
we
Nakka.
can collaborate. Thank you. Happy to meet and talk.
Next is William Lamb. Next is William Lamb.
Yeah, for the past 10 years, Milpitas school district has improved the learning platform quite a bit. I'm impressed. They bring computer learning platforms to our school, and the advantage of computer learning platform is it's depending how smart your kids are. You could go as far as the sky can see. And the advantage of having computer learning is you could mix the different levels of students in the same class. But additional things I would like to see is the school should bring in virtual reality into the school classroom. That would really help the learning curve quite a bit.
Thank you, Mr. Lam. Vice Mayor Chua.
Thank you so much. We have internship programs at City Hall where you can actually intern. The Milpitas High School students can intern in our T department. That's one way to get into some training for the high-tech, management information system. Also, we have funded, the current council have founded the youth workforce training, where we try to reach out to the different employers in the city, like bioscience, technology, like when we went to the DB Bioscience, they're really, really high-tech, and they are here. They just got inaugurated 2 months ago. And that's an opportunity for Milpitas High School students as well. And we have AI seminars. I attended one of them.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Chua.
Okay,
Next is Dipak Awasthi.
Yeah, very good question. I was in Economic Development Commission, and we had a representative from Milpitas High, and we also used to take trips. I remember we went to KLA 10 Corps, and you were there? Okay, and the kids had a fantastic time, I loved the sandwiches. And they talked about opportunities, and they were mentors. Somebody became a mentor, mentee, and one of the things, this is the learning process. Another thing which I'm greatly concerned about, the vaping, which we have to ban in Milpitas. In the city council meeting, somebody said vaping is banned in California. No, it is not. Vaping, I went to 3 stores. I said, only tobacco vaping is used. What is this 10 kind of vaping? Oh, this tastes like Red Bull and all. This is
Thank you,
illegal.
Mr. Awasthi.
Selling it. Thank you.
This next question will start with Ms. Nakka. This question is asked by Mr. Bob Brunton, and it's about the state government. What could Sacramento officials do differently to best help Milpitas? What could Sacramento officials do differently to best help Milpitas?
Thank you, Bob. You have all the amazing questions a lot of times. And Sacramento, yes, it's something that when I get elected, I would like to see and collaborate with the state officials. Assemblymember Alex Lee, he has advocated and he has, really worked hard to get the school district 1.5 million. So for our city, we definitely do have grants sitting out there. We need the committee at the city council, at the city staff to be able to dive deep into what are the possibilities that we are able to get the grants as far as the county, not just the state, the county, federal, even more, possible. Repro Kana, not just at the Sacramento level. We have the resources out there. It's just that we need to work collaboratively, all hands on deck, to be able to get what is needed for Milpitas. Anything that helps, especially for our revenue. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is William Lamb.
Yes. One thing Sacramento could help is like the home key projects. If we don't have, actually, as a Milpitas resident, we don't have a say. I wish they, when they do this kind of project, the local residents should have a say of whether they really want this project or not. And also, second thing is the funding. We need to have certain fundings. They could help us with money. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lamb. Vice Mayor Chua.
Thank you. I agree with Ms. Nakka about collaborating with Sacramento for grants. But I don't agree with Sacramento on taking over our local control. They don't know what is the problem here, but they enforce ordinances and laws that we have to follow. A good example is separating the organic trash from the regular trash. And if you don't follow, you get penalized. It's a good idea, but the implementation is horrible. Implementation is, how can you implement something like that? You have to go, to our 30,000 household and figure out who is breaking the law. It's really bad. Leave our local control to our city, but give us the money to do our work.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Chua. I think it's next is Dipak Awasthi.
Yes. Only you can do. Oh, there you go. First of all, collaboration is needed with the county officials. We have one right now. There is a senator also. They know what they are doing. They have been here. They have been living here. They know what is good or bad for us. If they do not know what is good or bad for us, they should not be running again. Having said that, it is taxpayers' money, our money, which is there in Sacramento. And when we need something, they should talk to us, and we go and talk to them. We go to Sacramento as your council member. I'll go and talk to them that, hey, we need this, we need whatever are our needs, the grants. Grants is again taxpayer money. Some grants were misused and I don't like it. I have mentioned it in my flyer. We have to be very, very particular on where the money is being used. So when we get the money from state, they should do differently, and we should have accountability in our system where the money goes. Thanks.
Thank you. Next is Bill Chuan.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Bob. So what can Sacramento, do differently to help Milpitas? You've heard it, definitely more collaboration. I realize the state, does have, money that can help us. But what needs to happen as well too is to build that relationship, and I'm willing to, as a city council person, to definitely build a relationship with the state, have them hear what our needs are here within the community, and make sure they understand that, and also get community input as well too, to make sure that each and every one of you, your voices are heard. I mean, certainly I can, set the table there, but just want to make sure that they hear our voices, and that's what they can definitely do, differently.
Thank you. Is it Vice Mayor Chua? So we have one more question before I pass it off to some of our Milpitas High School students to ask a question of their own. And so this last question is, what are you each planning to do to create and maintain positive, inclusive, and effective working relationships within the council in the coming term and beyond? What are you each planning to do to create and maintain positive, inclusive, and effective working relationships within the council in the coming term and beyond?
I think communication is the key issues. Every one of us need to be open-minded. We need to, if there are differences between us, we need to talk about it. Again, communication. We need to open our channel, make sure we understand each other. We may have differences. Each person has a different mindsets, and they have their own ideas. By understanding more about each other, we can be more respectful for each other's ideas, and see whether we could compromise in any ways. Negotiations is the key. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lam. Vice Mayor Chua.
At the City Council, we have a code of conduct, and it's common sense, be respectful, respect each other. And one example is criticize privately and praise publicly. I've never had a problem working with anyone in the City Council. I'm very open, I'm very friendly, and I work well with everybody. I work well with Bill when he was in the Planning Commission, and I was in the Planning Commission as well. I was able to practically, I would say 90% of my recommendation and initiatives were supported and approved by the council. And I would like to continue doing that, hopefully with your vote and your support on my second term, because I just treat everybody as the way I would be treated myself. So.
Thank you. Next is Mr. Dipak Awasthi.
Yes, I have been on various commissions, and I get along with people very well. And sometimes you have to agree to disagree, especially this time when you're not running your business and you say, okay, me and my wife say this has to be done like this. It is taxpayers' money. Taxpayers' money, you cannot treat taxpayers' money as your own money. And I will try to work with everyone, but I would be rather happy to work for anything when taxpayers' money is involved, something which is beneficial for all residents and not just some pet projects which can be beneficial to only a few. But I will be working with one and all to make sure it will be very transparent as to how the money is being spent, and we should be working with each other very fairly and very nicely and with transparency. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I believe the key here is definitely good communication. I also believe in being very open and honest, but more importantly, to the other person, to the other city council, folks, listen. Sometimes that's oftentimes a problem. It's just no one wants to listen. Everybody wants to inject their own ideas and stuff, but it's fine. I can listen, but more importantly, treat each other with respect and come to some kind of compromise. Listen, be professional amongst each other, and that's what I truly believe in. And actually, I even put that as one of my priorities. If you pick up one of my cards there, the word professionalism and civility. So I firmly believe that, and I will hold to that. Thank you.
How to build positive, effective, inclusive working relationships in the coming term and beyond with the City Council. The open communication, being honest, and it's not about who is right, it's about what is right. It's about collaboration, again, for me, is the key, is the communication is the key. You be able to, if you're able to put yourself in the other person's shoes, you will know what is right, what is wrong. And treat everybody with respect, definitely. You have seen my track record. I've been in the city of Milpitas for over 23 years, my family, my children. It's about how we are getting the work done for the benefit of the community at large. It's about how are we trying to accomplish the mission. It's about treating each other with respect. For me, currently serving on the Milpitas Unified School District and even going back, I've served on the PTAs and others. So it's about the collaboration.
Thank you for that answer, Mrs. Nakka.
Thank you. Let me know if you have any further questions.
Yeah, and now our next question is from the MHS students who work for the MHS newspaper and are in the journalism class. And the question is, what will you do differently to oppose the status quo and make a greater positive impact? And for this one, we're going to start with Ms. Chua.
The status quo of what? Or is it general status quo?
The general status quo.
In any situation or any issue being addressed, you always have your opinion. To me, when I'm at the dais, I listen to everybody. And I make my decision at the dais. And in order to break the status quo, I listen to each one of them and I formulate my decision. And then I voice my decision. And I try to see if there is a middle ground to resolve the problem, to resolve the status quo. If there is, I try to work to compromise and communicate the differences, because that's the only way you can get things done, especially in the council. You have to have cohesiveness, collaboration, and respect in order to get things done.
Thank you for the answer, Ms. Chua. And now we're going to move on to Mr. Awasthi.
Thank you. First of all, we have to have good communication with each other. Once we establish that, then the status quo can be broken and we can do many things without wasting time. Because sometimes a lot of time is wasted just beating around the bush when I see the council meetings, and we are just wasting time and not arriving at any good decision for the taxpayer. So, and we get stuck on the same decisions again and again. And nobody wants to compromise. If somebody takes one stand, the other person takes the second stand, and they are stuck on their stand. So we have to work very collaboratively with each other and make sure that whatever is in the best interest of the residents, we do that. We are sitting there in a public building on public funds, and we are taking decisions with your money, so we need to give you the best, otherwise we'll be fired in 4 years.
Thank you for the answer, Mr. Awasthi. And now we're going to move on to Mr. Chuan.
Yeah, thank you for the question there. To break the status quo and, just be positive, and I think that's one of the words there is be positive. Have a positive attitude on, anything and everything you do. Always be, have a listening ear. Treat each other with mutual respect. Treat others how you want to be treated. That's how, I was always taught. At the end of the day, everyone needs to, whoever's on the dais and, breaking status quo, work together as a team. When you do things as a team, you can do really great things. And that's what I believe in. And I think in order to break the status quo, I can't do it individually. I have to work together as a team. So on the council, that's how I would approach it. Work together as a team, making sure that, whatever you have on the dais, make sure that we do the best for the community.
Thank you, Mr. Chuan. And next we have Mrs. Nakka.
What do you do differently to break the status quo? When you're on the dais, when you're not, doesn't matter. It's the ethics that carry you forward. It's the long run that you're looking at. It's the forward thinking. It's the respect that you would expect whenever you give it. So it's like, that's the reason they say give and take. So for me, it's the collaboration, it's the cohesive attitude, it's the community which matters. So it's all about, getting to know each other, trying to be in one another's shoes to understand the different perspectives, wear a different lens and see why the other person is, proposing something differently. It's always teamwork. Definitely it's, together we can achieve a lot. Together we go a long way. So it's teamwork makes the dream work for me. Thank you so much. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you. And finally, we have Mr. Lam.
Seems like everyone is has good answers. We are basically humans. We are social animals. We need to talk. We need to communicate. We need to listen. Sometimes there's advantage being a good listener. I feel we need to listen to each other, and also we need to focus on the issues, not on the persons. So, as some of the candidate has mentioned, teamwork is the key, and communication and respect each other's. Those are some of the key factors for being a good council members.
All right then, that concludes our audience questions. And now we're moving into the final portion of our night, our closing statements. Each candidate will have 90 seconds to deliver their closing statement. We'll start with Dipak Awasthi.
90 seconds. As we come to a close of this evening, I want to thank you all for being here and taking the time to engage in the future of our community. Milpitas has given me and my family so much over the years, and I'm running for city council because I believe we can make our city stronger. We face challenges, but I am confident that with the right leadership, we can create real lasting solutions. My experience in business and community service has prepared me to take on the tough issues, whether it's public safety, rising crime, retail, you name it, homelessness. I am committed to working hard, being transparent, and listening to you every step of the way. Together we can build a safer and more prosperous, united Milpitas. Having said that, our budget is going in a deficit. We are having a lawsuit on the city. Santa Clara had a grand jury indicting some members of the council. FBI raided the Oakland mayor. we should have to make sure that something like this doesn't happen here, and we should not let things go out of control and make sure that why we are going into a deficit, what has happened to Milpitas, and what are the challenges going forward. Thank you.
And now, Bill Chuan.
Thank you all for your time here today. I really appreciate it, to come in here after work and be in this forum. I really appreciate it. I am vested to serve this community to better care for our residents, especially our youths and seniors. I am committed to serving you, our residents, and not using this office as a stepping stone for any other higher office. As your future council member, I pledge to serve you. I am always going to be a listening ear to our residents and take your input into consideration when I make decisions on the dais. We need to have better transparency and better fiscal responsibility so that we can ensure our residents are the priority and decisions are not made for political motivation. I'm prioritizing public safety and well-being for our residents. I am proudly endorsed by our Milpitas Police Officers Association and the Milpitas Firefighters Local 1699 Union. I'm also endorsed by many of our past and present key elected officials, of which having these relationships will be key to accomplishing the work that needs to be done for Milpitas. Thank you all for your time, and I look forward to continuing to serve the city and community. Please vote for me, Bill Chuan, for Milpitas City Council. My website's billchuan.milpitas.com. Thank you.
Next, Nakka with her closing statement.
Thank you, Milpitas. I'm Nakka, and I'm asking for your vote because I believe in the future that we can build together for Milpitas. I'm highly educated with a PhD in finance and MS in computer sciences. I'm an elected candidate currently serving as a Milpitas Unified School Board trustee. I'm serving as a board member on Milpitas Chamber of Commerce and Rotary Clubs, and also the Kiwanis and Sunny Hills Neighborhood Association and many other local organizations. I want to make Milpitas a safer place for every resident. I have over 23 years of service from PTAs to Girl Scouts to Language Ambassador to CERT to ROV. My home is Milpitas, and I understand our strengths and weaknesses and seen our city's explosive growth. You can count on me to implement stronger public safety measures, address homelessness, sustainable affordable housing, and support our local small businesses so families can thrive. I will work to grow our local economy, creating more jobs and opportunities while ensuring a balanced budget that maintains essential services without compromising our community's needs. I am committed to transparent leadership that prioritizes your voices and concerns. I have been proudly endorsed by State Assembly Member Alex Lee, former Mayor Rich Tran, Milpitas Police Department, Milpitas Fire Department, 350 Bay Area Climate Action, among many others. Vote Nakka for Milpitas City Council. Let's aim for a better Milpitas. Thank you so much. And I know my time is out. I'll be around in the back even after the session with my campaign materials. Happy to talk to you. Thank you.
And William Lamb.
Have you thought about what kind of local government you wanted? I believe our local government should be transparent, accountable, and inclusive of different viewpoints, and focus on improving the infrastructure to create a more vibrant community. Now I'm eager to bring this vision to the City Council for solving complex issues with innovative solutions that prioritize based on the need of our residents. As a City Council member, I'm prepared to address challenges head-on, and I will work tirelessly to ensure that every voice in our diverse community is heard and respected. I will use my experience to work for you to improve the Milpitas lifestyle for ourselves and for our children. I humbly ask for your support and your trust in me so I can lead on your behalf and bring prosperity to our community. Together we can build a better tomorrow where business can thrive, youth can succeed, and family can feel secure. Thank you for your support.
And finally, Vice Mayor Evelyn Chua.
Thank you again, everyone, for being here. And thanks to Rhoda and the journalism students of MHS. My unwavering community service was born out of love and respect to my two brothers. One instilled in me the importance of family and community. The other, the steadfast loyalty to our country. The latter gave the ultimate sacrifice while protecting for all of us, protecting democracy for all of us. Even before elected, I served Milpitas with initiatives that are still vibrant and relevant. For 4 years, as a council member and a vice mayor, I've been effective in working collaboratively with 2 sets of council. Also passed many of my initiatives and resolutions. As I mentioned before, my record speaks for itself. My community service is pure. There's no hidden agenda and no one outside influence. I listen to all stakeholders and I make my decision at the dais. My decisions are only geared towards the benefit of Milpitas. I have no plans to run for regional office. I want to continue my service here in our city. I humbly ask for your vote. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. I'm Rhoda's husband, Eric, the co-owner of The Beat. First of all, thank you so much to all our moderators. Let's give it up again for all the students from the Milpitas High School journalism class. Also, Maria Denise Franca. You guys did an amazing job. There were technical difficulties we're sorry about, but you guys were very graceful. Thank you. Thank you so much to all the candidates for your great answers, for your energy, and for your dedication to our city. Give it up for the candidates. Rhoda and I would also like to thank our partners and our sponsors once again for making this possible. And we also would like to thank all our readers in the audience for all your support over the past 7 years. A big thank you to those of you who have contributed financially over the years. Local journalism is a tough business, so we truly appreciate all your support and really allowing us to continue to tell these stories and host events like this one. If anyone tonight wants to support The Beat, we have a membership where you can do that just by scanning the QR code on the back of your program. So everybody, we hope you'll make it for our 2 other forums. We have the MUSD Board Member Forum happening at MHS on Saturday, October 5th. Then of course, next week, the Milpitas Mayor Forum, which is happening on Wednesday, October 9th. You can sign up through the QR codes on the back of your programs to RSVP. Okay, thank you all so much for being here. We hope you enjoyed the forum. Have a great night and be sure to vote on November 5th.